Okay, everybody, Stephen Key, and I'm back, and I've got one of my all-time favorite guests. Mark, how you doing?
Good. Is that what you say to all the guests, or
Yep,
it's
pretty,
just me?
pretty much, pretty much. Hey, let's talk about Zoom. Let's talk about pitching. Let's talk about traveling. Has the world changed? Are you going to be traveling to pitch your products? Are you going to stay home, do it on Zoom or Skype? How are you doing it now?
Well, it actually happened to me. I had a meeting with Walmart during this whole pandemic, and we did a Zoom call, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It really let me know, like, number one, the world's changing like crazy, but number two is, back in the day I used to fly to Bentonville, what, a half a dozen times a year, and meet and stay overnight and have a steak and do all this shit, and it used to cost me all kinds of money. I literally went to the same conference room I'm in now. I had a Zoom call with one of the buyers.
All right.
They zoomed in their manager, so I was able to speak to the group, and everybody could ask all the questions they wanted. I was finished. I
All right.
clicked off. I went back to my desk. So forget about the financial perspective. I was able to get back to work at my very own desk within 4 seconds of clicking off.
All right.
So what think about the differential. I mean, it's crazy.
So no travel, don't go out to lunch, lousy hotels, waiting in lines, wearing a mask on the plane. But better yet, you can pitch directly, get feedback, see it, and go back to work within minutes.
Exactly, because
All
we
right.
sent the samples ahead of time. They asked for all kinds of information, that we submitted, like normal, everything normal. But then, no, the masks, and I don't really even care that much about the masks, because I'll wear it, I'll do what I have to do. But it's the absolute waste of time
Got
to
it.
be able to have to go there. And of course, it's a smaller airport, so there's always delays. And then when there's
Okay.
not delays and you miss a flight because the meeting goes over, and there's all kinds of, Stephen,
All
you
right.
travel too, okay? And with all this bullshit, I can make five of those pitches in a single day, whereas it would have taken me at least a month to get that many
Okay.
pitches under my belt with majors.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about how do you prepare for that pitch? You send everything beforehand so they're all ready to go. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, you just send it. But I mean, to me, there's a lot of, everybody's all nervous and this and that. But the fact of the matter is, they're people. They're people too. They put their pants on one leg at a time. I have a conversation just like this with them. I don't go in and don't be somebody else, because you're going to get busted. Tell
Okay.
them problem, solution, pricing. Let them beat you up a little bit, and then move on. That's how
Okay.
you do
Okay.
it.
What about no, no, no? I want to bring a pitch deck. I want to hit them really hard with all the numbers. Is that a good way to go?
It sucks. And now let me tell you why. Because over the years, and there's been plenty of them, probably 3 decades of pitching, okay, what you do is, when you go in and hand out a pitch deck, you spend the whole meeting talking to the top of their heads. And let me show you what I mean. That's who you talk to, the top of their skull,
All
because
right.
they're reading and they're not listening.
All
I don't
right.
know anybody, Stephen, not I, not you, not anybody, who can read and listen at the same time.
All
I'll
right.
go in, I'll give them a single sheet, I'll talk about all the great stuff, and then after, I'll drop the pitch deck on them and say, when you
Okay.
have availability, this will refresh your memory as to what we spoke about.
Okay.
That's how I do it, because they can't read and listen at the same time. Nobody can.
Okay. How important is to tell a story, Mark, so they can remember your product? Is that important or not?
It's the only thing. Telling a
All right.
story is every. Well,
Okay.
I don't mean like telling them the stupid stories about when you were 7 and you weren't dipping ketchup right, or some shit like that. Just be
All right.
different. Be different. I'm different. People, when they watch these interviews, they remember me.
Okay.
Why? Because I'm different. I'm not droning on about horse shit. I'm just telling you what you want to know. You're asking me questions. I'm giving you answers, real life answers to
Okay.
real life questions. And differentiate yourself. Every asshole that walks in is like, hello, permit me to introduce myself. I'm Marc Portney, and what I have here is the left-handed widget. Do you think you've just differentiated yourself from anybody?
All
You
right.
haven't. Okay? You haven't. Believe me.
Okay. So, Mark, how important is to really know your numbers to establish trust? As you know, we were watching a Shark Tank episode a couple of weeks ago, and someone kind of screwed up their numbers a little bit. If once you overpromise or you state something that's not correct, can you recover from that? Because I know there's trust issues.
It's hard. It's hard to recover. You want to try to stay you want to try to stay on point. The other thing that I have found is it's as important to tell them not to do as what to do. Like, in other words, if they look at a color and they say, "Oh, what about this color?" and you go, "It's not really the best seller. I don't recommend going that way."
Oh.
What does that do? Of course, I want to sell everything because I'm a greedy fuck. But at the same time, if you tell them the truth about something, like, listen, it's a beautiful SKU. It's just not performing the way that the other ones are. These three are the best ones. All of a sudden, instantaneously, you've shown him you're not there to squeeze him for every dollar.
Oh,
you're there
okay,
to show him how to be successful with your product and gaining his trust at the same time.
Okay. So be truthful. What about trade shows? You going to go to trade shows? I mean, they're coming up. I think I'm going to go to 2 of them because I want to see companies, meet companies. But, at the end of the day, it's expensive again. It's time consuming again. I don't know if a lot of companies are even going to be there. I mean, I know they're there showing new products, but are they really taking orders? How do you feel about trade shows?
You want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to bullshit you?
No, I want you to bullshit me. No, I want you to tell me the truth.
You cursed, man. That's bad stuff.
See, you're rubbing off on me. Go ahead.
Stephen Key cursed. I don't think I'm going to be attending too many, to be honest with you. Two items. The first thing I just discussed. You go to Vegas. You go there for a week, 5 days, whatever it is. Every day is 3 meals. Every day is pressing flesh, kissing babies, a hotel. And flights. And of course, it's all very, very expensive. So by doing things that I do, like the inventRight, the inventRight interviews and all this other stuff, I get close to between 60 and 100 some weeks submissions. Yeah. So if I went to a trade show, what would I get? 67, 68, it doesn't really matter. And anybody who's really in the game knows how to contact me, right? So why do I have to walk? It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun as long as it's a fun place like Vegas or wherever. But at the end of the day, knowing what I know now, I'm not so sure I'm not so sure I'm going, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have realized, hey, we can kind of live without this. In fact, I think a lot of companies have. They've learned that they can. Their businesses did just fine. I don't know. I think everybody's going to look at it differently. So everybody, you're watching. I'm back with Mark. Gave you the whole scoop about pitching on Skype, on Zoom. I think it's the future. I really do.
Totally.
Game changer. Because you're right. You're saving time. It's fast. You get to see people. Good stuff. All right, everybody, subscribe down below. We just hit 50,000. I cannot believe it. I want to thank everybody
for
subscribing. Thank you very much. I think we're close to over 4 million views plus. I don't know the numbers, but anyway, thank you very much for subscribing. Mark, thank you for coming back. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks, Stephen.
There's a great idea in each of us. But it's truly magical to see it come to life. Sharing your creativity with the world has never been easier. We can help.